Everything that I've done so far has been void, and everything that I'll be doing from now on will also be void. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I can't believe it's been an entire week since my last upload. What a tragedy. I would never leave you guys for more than 2 days. Oh my god. Well, today we're going to be completely removing the last distribution I installed on this machine, Adélie Linux PowerPC, because not only did I install it wrong, I'm using a distro that's less compatible than other distros like Void Linux would be. Let's go ahead and open up the garbage drive. If you're wondering why I don't use the internal slot loading drive, it's a lot slower and there isn't really much point. I'm going to stick this in here, power on the machine, and hold down Option. Okay, the computer is on and the CD is showing up right off the bat. Let's go ahead and launch the installer for Void Linux. And we have grub as usual. We have two versions of Void Linux, it's kind of weird. 5.13, 12_1, PowerPC, and then a version that I guess like runs on RAM or something. Let's go ahead and load in to the completely normal version. Now, another important thing that I want to mention is some other stuff that I've been doing off camera with the iMac G4. I was able to boot into Ubuntu 12.04 PowerPC single user mode successfully on an iMac G4, but only if I used the external monitor. Alright, it seems to be kind of stalling here, but I'll just let this work. Once I spend like 5 minutes here, I'm going to probably cancel it. Now, call me impatient, but it's been sitting here for around 2 minutes, and it has no updates. The drive activity light is not moving at all and hasn't for quite some time. So I'm going to try some of the other options on that boot menu. I'm going to open the garbage drive. Can you please open garbage drive? That's why I call you garbage drive, because you don't open when I want you to. Alright, the solution is just to flip the switch and flip it again. And there's the disk. It's been taken out. Now, stick it into here. I'm actually going to turn on the machine, hold down Option first, then I'm going to stick it in, and hopefully that drive doesn't eat the disk. But I'm pretty sure that drive works and I've tested it, but I can't be 100% sure. But it is definitely slower than the other drive, by far. This drive, the garbage drive, is insanely fast. It burned the disk at like 10 megabytes a second. It's better than most USB drives that I've used. Alright, the disk is showing up, so let's go into the CD now. Okay, it seems to be doing something different this time. Error, can't open device. Well, that's not good. Press any key to continue. Okay. Oh, it actually seems to be working. Okay. Interesting, we're getting no-vow things. I'm not sure what this means, but yeah. Welcome to Void. That is B43. That's not surprising. I might actually be booting into a graphical interface here. And I know X does work on this machine. Because I've used it, of course, on, if you watch the previous video, I've used X properly on Adélie Linux. This is kind of worrying. Tried to load, I believe, x.org, and it's just showing a black screen with nothing. No disk activity or anything like that. Now, what I want to try to get X running, and this is what got me able to see a single user prompt on Ubuntu on that iMac G4, which is to use an external monitor. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in a monitor to this machine and restart, because it's not going to detect a monitor hot plug with X in this state. Mini DVI to VGA to mini DVI adapter. Plug this in down here. Then this is the adapter I was using for the iMac. For some reason, the iMac doesn't have an actual VGA port. It uses mini VGA for some stupid reason. You can't see this. I don't have two cameras. But the monitor doesn't even say there's a VGA cable. Stuck at no VGA cable, this display will go to sleep in 5 minutes. Although sometimes that happens with very old VGA electronics. I'm going to turn it back on and hold down Option. on the keyboard. The boot menu should show on both monitors, but it doesn't. So it could be that the adapter I used is dead. So I'm going to try a different adapter. If that doesn't work, I'm going to try booting into a Mac OS disk, and that will show up on both monitors absolutely 100%. Alright, this is the only other adapter I have for this. And the monitor still says there's no VGA cable. Hopefully this port isn't dead on this computer. That would be kind of sad. So I'm going to try using this, which I believe is a Tiger disk, in the garbage drive, of course, and see if it will detect, and then I can boot into Tiger, and then it should see the monitor, and if it doesn't, then there's something wrong with this, because the VGA cable does work. Alright, that's the Tiger disk. Good. This video won't be as long as the other one, I don't think, but it's definitely longer than I expected it to be. Yeah, the monitor over there is displaying a picture, so that means that the adapter isn't broken, it just doesn't show up on the boot screen. And I'm going to try booting into Xorg, but first I have to wait for this to boot so I can reboot the computer and reboot from the Void Linux disk. Quit installer, and restart the computer, and hold down the Option key. Nothing on the boot screen so far, but it hasn't loaded any sort of graphics drivers yet, so we shall see if the other monitor shows anything up. Anything shows up on... You get the point. Okay, stuff is actually showing up on the other monitor. I mean, right now it's only a white screen, but, you know, we'll see how that changes. Well, this is a bit of a problem. We have blue text that looks like VGA artifacts, so the errors are fine, but I'm guessing the VGA cable just isn't plugged in correctly on one side or another. Doesn't look like just fiddling with the cable actually fixed the blue text issue. Xorg doesn't seem to be showing up on either display now. Well, actually, the display is just flickered on both. See if we get something. I'll give it time. You know, it took like a minute for KDE to load. Okay, we're still stuck here. It hasn't been that long, but the disk just spun down. And I think it's worth just rebooting and trying Adélie Linux again. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug that display. And then go ahead and shut off this computer. Now, I'm going to actually hold down the internal trackpad button while the machine's booting up in order to hopefully invoke the force disk removal from the internal drive, because I don't need the void disk anymore. And it worked. Okay, it's booting into the broken installation of Adélie Linux. So, let's shut off the machine. Booting back up into the Adélie Linux disk. Reminds me of old times. One entire week ago. Can't believe I would have left you guys without a video for an entire week. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible on my part. Not uploading for a week? Everyone's gonna cancel me. I mean, before this, I only didn't upload for 9 months, but, you know. Not uploading for a week? No one would ever not upload for a week. What are you talking about? Alright, we finally got to the desktop. That took a while. Hopefully it doesn't take that long off of a non-CD. Time to go to System, Console, and now I need to follow the correct tutorial from Action Retro. I realized that I was following the wrong tutorial last time around when I made the description. So, yeah, this is what happens when I don't do any research. So, I type SU. Type the password live. We don't have nearly as many blocks as what is in Action's video, but hopefully I can follow it just the same. Mac fdisk /dev /sda. Now I think what I just need to do is just delete partition SDA3, which is what Linux is installed on. That's the only partition I really want to be deleting. So I think if I do D3, and now there's nothing, it's just free space there. And I don't think I actually need a patch partition for this, so that might be it for what I have to do here for this computer. I'm gonna try this, it's no harm in trying. I think I don't actually have to do anything other than just mkfs.ext4/dev/sda3. I think that's literally all I have to do. Alright, everything seemed to work properly. Okay, it seems like what Action's doing is just using a custom setup with the Horizon UI, so maybe we'll run into our first problem here. Who knows? Continue, continue, continue. There's a disk, continue. Oh, that's interesting. I just have to use the existing partition here. Add mount, then dev SDA3, confirm. And then I think dev SDA2 is going to be /boot. But I could be wrong about that. Alright, my networking isn't plugged in, but the USB network adapter is, so I can just theoretically just do this. Now I do automatic, and then ETH1, and it should just connect to the internet with my PC, and it did. Call this G4 PPC, just because. Actually, I just realized something. I want to do mobile, because that's going to install like battery utilities and stuff like that. Now, the chances of this working the first time around are low. Very low. Oh my god, it actually configured. That is shocking. Oh, okay. Well, that's not surprising, but installation couldn't finish. This failure typically indicates an issue connecting to the network. View log. This is a completely different issue. Tells me to check the log file. I am checking the log file. Okay, the problem that's happening right now, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. Why does the installation stop? Because I can't install Thunderbird. I don't need Thunderbird. I've used the last time I used Thunderbird was like 4 years ago. I have no use for Thunderbird. Why can't it install? Because Thunderbird won't install. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Sorry, devs. It turned out I did something wrong. What Sean does here is, well, that's a problem. Now I won't even run the installer. I'm just going to try restarting and starting again. So now I'm going to reboot again and then do everything all over again up to the point where I have to choose where I'm installing things.
One eternity later.
Alright, we're back in the system. So let's go back to applications, system. I'm getting really used to doing this. Console. Okay, Adélie Linux has apparently, allegedly, successfully installed. So I'm going to click finish, and it's going to shut down the installer. Now I'm just going to do reboot. Or not, I guess, if there's nothing. Oh, there we go. Reboot. Let's hold down Option. Cross our fingers that things actually show up on here. Alright, not a good sign that it doesn't show up immediately, and the CD shows up. Okay, turns out you have to use open firmware. Let's do set inv boot device HD:2, I believe, comma, /boot, /grub. Says okay, but that doesn't mean anything. Here we go again. I must have done something wrong because it's booting in the live CD. I guess I could do C for a command line, and then I'm going to do... I'm actually going to try this. I'm going to go back into open firmware, press the magic keys. Then I'm going to do some commands in open firmware that I think will help me out with this. So if I do boot HD:2, comma, /grub, /grub. Okay, it actually works. So I must have just made a typo. Set env boot device HD:2, comma, /grub, /grub, reset all. And that is exactly what caused the problem, because now it's actually going to boot. Now I'm actually going to take a break here and like charge my phone and stuff like that. So I'll come back once I'm done. And we're back. We are booting into Linux again. Welcome to Grub. Let's boot up into Adélie Linux. And I think I could have avoided doing a full reinstallation, but whatever. Alright, now I'm going to do distro hopper 39B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we're in. Alright, we don't seem to have any sort of administrator privileges. I might not have checked the box that says administrator. I'd have to change the permissions for certain things, but I can do su and then type in the password there. I guess the formatted ZSH doesn't work for the root user. Now I think I could have just done this using the old installation that was on here before. According to the guide on Actions video, I should have just logged in as root from the beginning, which would have worked just fine, but whatever. It works here too. So I'm actually just going to do it the way that he does. Do exit, exit. And I'm going to re-log in as root. Alright, we're in root, it's fine. APK update. APK add plasma desktop. SDDM. "13 errors. That's a lot of errors. APK add XF86 input lib input RC update add SDDM default." Now I can do reboot now. Now hopefully if we're lucky, it'll actually work first time around. Okay, looks like we have an interface. Type in my password. Now it's time to see if KDE will load. We have a cursor. Let's go. Yes, it loads the splash screen, and that is a clean. There's a little bit of lag there, but that's a clean loading symbol for the most part. Okay, we have a desktop. Holy crap. We're in. Holy crap. Okay. We have no applications at all, other than KSysGuard. We don't even have a console. So I need to install stuff. And unfortunately, I know how I can do that. I have to get to a different TTY by doing, I think, Control-Alt-4 or F keys. Yeah, okay. Okay, TTY 5 works. So now I can do root. And then type in the password. Now I need to do apk add console. Alright, we installed pretty much the most important process, which is going to be console. Apk add dolphin, which is going to be the file manager. Apk add, what other programs should I install for KDE? Does gparted exist? I just want to see if gparted's a thing. No, it isn't. Okay. APK add. Is this a thing? KDE system settings? No, it's not a thing. Okay, we have Dolphin installed, and in System, we have Dolphin and Console. So now I'm going to load up Dolphin. Home Dolphin, okay, we have a window. Next step is, of course, to install the KDE System Settings app, but I'm not sure the package name for that, so... Very broken. The font, there's a missing font file. I have to find the package for that again. But I think I'm going to end it here. We have a successful graphic installation installed onto the internal hard drive of the PowerBook G4. And we have a few programs installed. I have to make a new profile and then get the fonts working and all that stuff. Because there's missing fonts. There's a bunch of missing programs like the Settings app. But for now, that's going to be it for me. And thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you in the future.